My bad. Okay, go ahead.
Call to order the Town of St. John Board of Zoning Appeals from December 21st, 2020. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we get a roll call? Who? You're gonna handle that?
Yes, Mr. Kennedy,
Here.
Mr. Popovic, sorry. I don't believe is with us this evening. Mr. Sheeran, I don't believe is with us at this point. Mr. LaRue
Here.
and Ms. Woolen.
Here.
So we have 3 present, which does constitute a quorum, and we are able to conduct business. And then also Craig Phillips, town manager, is present, and Paul Panzik.
Here.
I believe that Adam Decker also is with us this evening.
Yes, present.
Okay.
Thank you. Approval of minutes. I don't know that I've seen minutes lately come across.
Yeah, we're working very diligently on getting ourselves set up for recording secretary, but we're a little bit, unfortunately, a little bit
Okay.
behind on the minutes at this point.
Okay,
Margaret had July and September come out,
okay.
but she asked us to defer November. So if you haven't, then
I may have read them, but I don't recall them, so I think we should probably defer that to the next meeting, then we can look at that time.
not a problem. I'll make a motion to defer meeting minutes for July, September, because I don't think there was one in August, and November until our next meeting.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Thank you, Nancy.
So that was a motion made by Mr. Kennedy and seconded by Ms. Woolen, correct?
Yes. Then we'll have to take a roll call for the vote.
Mr. Kennedy,
Yes.
Ms. Woolen,
Yes.
Mr. LaRue.
Yes. Okay, motion was approved to defer minutes to the next meeting. Approval of minutes, I should say, from the last couple of months on that. New bit, we're gonna skip out, so Morgan's here, so, first order of business is 2020-0008, Tim Caballero, 1020 West Wellington. Petitioner seeking relief from zoning ordinance chapters 5.2F, .2, detached garage, chapter 11B3. Detached garage height and interior garage finish ceiling heights.
Morgan, are you there?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, good. Sorry. Good evening. Attorney Morgan Gerolimo from Berka Sanza and Carberry, representing petitioner Timothy Caballero. We were previously heard at the November meeting in front of this BZA where we went over and discussed the 2 town code sections that the petitioner was seeking a variance from. I understand the minutes have not yet been prepared, but it was our understanding that after that meeting, Mr. Caballero was seeking a variance on 3 issues from 2 town code sections. One was an approval to build a detached garage in his current R1 zoning district. The second was seeking a variance from the height requirement of said detached garage. And the third was seeking a variance from the indoor ceiling height requirement from that town code section as well. And it was our understanding that as of the last meeting, the board was in agreement that Mr. Caballero be allowed to build said detached garage, as well as approve a higher indoor ceiling height of the 10-foot restriction. Moving forward to tonight's meeting, we are here again on the, we deferred this matter in regards to the exterior height of the detached.
The roof
as
line,
there was some
exactly.
hesitation because the roof line is correct. Yeah, there was some hesitation in regards to not knowing the exact measurement And so we're here tonight after speaking with the construction manager that is going to be undertaking this project on behalf of the petitioner, who has confirmed that the rough elevation would be 28 feet. And so we are seeking approval from the BZA tonight for that the height amount would not exceed 28 feet as measured from the existing grade to the roof peak, which would be in line with Mr. Caballero's existing structure.
I was going to ask you that question. What's the other part of it? So, okay. Any questions?
Just for clarification, I had the same understanding that we approved variance 1 for the detachment and for the interior ceiling height. That was approved at our last meeting. The only one that hasn't been is we wanted clarification on the actual height of the structure that would be allowable.
Correct.
Okay.
That's my understanding as well.
And then for the attorney, just one question. So I just want clarification. I know you mentioned rough elevation. I think the board wanted to verify, and I think you did mention this, that the height of his existing structure, his residency, is 28 feet. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. The intent would be for the new detached garage to match the height of his current existing residence,
Thank you.
which would be 28 feet, correct?
Okay.
I have no more questions, Mr. President.
Any remonstrations or anything of that nature, Craig?
I've received no communication on this request since the last meeting.
Okay, thank you. There's no one here, so I need a call for
I think we closed it. It was just a deferral.
just deferral, okay.
I think we opened it and closed it at the last meeting.
Gotcha. Carrying these over, sometimes gotta remember what exactly occurred.
It's hectic time.
I don't want to forget something that we need to do. There's no further questions. Can we have a motion put forth on this item?
Mr. President, I will make a favorable recommendation, or a favorable approval for a variance for Tim Caballero, Chapter 11B3, for the detached garage height, with a contingency, it is no greater than 28 feet.
Is there any other language we need to have in there, Mr. Decker, regarding this? Do we need to go through the findings of facts?
Oh, I'm sorry. I will read the finding of facts.
Yeah, well, Mr. Chairman, if I may, this is Adam Decker. So this motion is to approve the variance. So it's not a recommendation that's being made to the town council. This is simply an approval of the request for the variance. So that would be the motion. And the board may impose reasonable conditions as part of that approval. So if the motion is to approve, conditioned upon any requirement such as indicated by Member Kennedy, that's what the action would be at this time.
Okay,
And I
thank you.
do recommend that you go through the specific findings as part of that process.
So, Mr. President, if you will allow me again to amend my motion. Again, my motion is to approve height variance for the detached garage, contingent on not to exceed 28 feet, that the variance approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare of the community, that The approval, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse matter, that the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'm sorry, to the board, I would also ask that in addition to the exterior height requirement being no greater than 28 feet, if we could also include that the interior ceiling height would not exceed 20 feet.
Didn't we already approve that?
I
I thought we
I don't
already
know if
approved
you
that,
need to
didn't we, the last time?
do
I
that.
think we approved that last time.
I thought we did too.
Okay.
I have the findings of fact in front of me. Yeah. So, yeah, we approved that last time.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
So to Mr. Kennedy's motion, do we have a second on Mr. Kennedy's motion to approve? Nancy, are you with us?
I am. I'll second.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Can we do a roll call, please?
Mr. Kennedy,
Yes?
Ms. Willen,
Yes.
Mr. LaRue,
Yes. Motion's been approved for Mr. Caballero on his, for the height of his garage at 28 feet. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. You all take care.
Bye-bye. Next piece of business is 2020-0009, MHI Sterling McFarland Homes, 8350 Lake Spur Terrace. Petitioner is seeking relief from zoning ordinance chapter 24-125. Do I recall, I didn't have it in my book the last time. And it was also in another section.
Yeah,
Correct.
there's two different versions in terms of the numeration of the ordinance.
Correct.
I think either one is valid, so as long as it's clear what's being requested, then
Can you remind me again what the other section's at? Because I don't seem
I
to
would
recall.
have to grab my book.
Okay,
Um,
The petitioner would probably be able to make the statement.
okay.
Good evening. My name is John Stewart Allen. I have a power of attorney
Okay,
to represent the owner, Sterling. Okay. I'm also the surveyor that performed the surveys that you can see up there.
okay,
And so, yeah, the requirement is an 8-foot side yard. In this particular subdivision, it's kind of matched up to another PUD that had 2 side yards that had to equal 12 feet. Okay, so there's a transition from one to another, and of course, I did a site plan that showed a 7.47 foot side yard, and it was approved through the building department here at the town, and then it kind of went through, and then at the time we did the surveyor location report, it went to, I think, in front of the town, and they realized that it was supposed to be 8 feet.
okay.
I missed that as well when I did the site plan. So now we have a building that's 7.5 feet from the property line instead of 8 feet from the property line. That's what happened. So we're asking for a variance.
So we have 8.5 on one side and 7.5 on the other. Am I reading that correctly?
That is correct.
Has the foundation already been poured?
Oh, yeah.
It's completely built.
Oh, it's
built.
completely built. Okay, I'm sorry, I must have missed that.
So can you explain again to me the process that happened? So in this area of the development, side yards, it's 2 8-foot side yards,
Correct.
okay?
Correct.
So then the survey came in and it was 7.4 on the north-hand side.
Well, what happened, we did a site plan for approval of this building, which I don't, that's not up there, but
I
you got a
might,
copy of that? I can show you a copy of that.
I might have that. Let's see.
So, here's the site plan that was approved. You can see on there that it has a side yard that's less than 8 feet, which, I did probably
This one?
50 of the unit next to this requires the buildings to be built 12 feet apart minimum. So you could actually have one on a lot line as long as the other one's 12 feet apart. It's a plan unit development. So we went from a plan unit development to this and the transition. So the thinking was when we did the site plan is we'd shift the building away from the easement a little bit to give us more room on the one side, not thinking of 8 feet because we were
Right.
thinking it was a 12-foot thing. So we issued that. The permit was issued. We staked it.
So you sent in, I'm sorry,
Sure.
so you sent in the site plan showing the 7.4 and it was
Yeah.
approved by the planning department.
By the building department, I
Building
believe.
department,
Yeah, I
that's
think
right,
the
building
planning
department.
department found the problem when we went in, when we did the foundation survey.
Okay,
And that's when we realized, and they brought it to our attention, on the plat, it actually says the minimum side yards on the development plan, not on the subdivision plat that was recorded for this, but that's how it happened. And that's why I'm here.
so you're the power attorney who actually owns the property?
It's Sterling, MHI Sterling LLC, which the president is Ron McFarland, on McFarland Homes.
Okay,
And they've built a tremendous amount of the homes in the section before this, and then quite a few of these homes as well.
and so lot 1605, which I believe is to the north? That's to the north?
Correct. Oh, to the east, you're talking about?
To the
Yeah, to the east.
You're saying those lots, that lot requires just a 16-foot side yard?
No, all of the lots in this particular subdivision, Unit 7F,
Okay,
require 8-foot side yards on each side.
okay,
So 1605 will require an 8-foot side yard, 1607, which I think I have site plans in already for those two. And obviously, we've done probably 15 other site plans after this and before this, in this unit, that were, the 8-foot didn't come up even in some of them because we weren't near the minimum, so we just centered them on there and so forth. This one, of course, is 8 and 8, it should have been 8 and 8.
so have you done do you know who owns lot 1605 to the east?
They're both McFarland.
Do you know if a site plan has been proposed for that?
I don't know that for sure, but I believe so, yes.
So,
I mean,
yes, you're looking at something I don't have. Do we have the lots itself, Craig?
Oh,
The layout?
what did you want to know about that?
well, okay, and one more question. Is the measurement of 7.4 from the foundation to the lot line?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
Okay,
foundation.
because if I'm not mistaken, in our ordinance, it's from the eaves.
No, well,
That's not how it's done in practice. I checked with the building and planning department, and that's never been done that way. There's a discrepancy in the ordinance.
I
You would
Greg, I
have, you would
understand what you're
have,
saying, but,
you would have lots of homes that are out of compliance if that were the case,
okay.
that have already been built in that subdivision.
Yeah, I don't know how you would even try to do that, actually, after the fact.
I understand. No, I'm,
We caught that
here's
before, though.
here's what I'm thinking. If McFarland owns a lot, 1605, you got 8.5 feet on one side. I don't know how you squeeze a extra 6 inches on the lot to the,
You don't. They don't have that.
they're
that luxury.
minimum size. And
is any home going on that lot yet?
I don't know that for sure.
I
don't know how you'd be able to tell that,
wouldn't be able to access that here.
yeah.
I'd have to access a different database.
But 1605 is a minimum width lot currently. So if you're thinking about like, yeah, having a lot line moved over or something like that, it would be,
No, just not a lot
Yeah.
line, but maybe if you can squeeze some space.
I would caution you to consider this parcel and only this parcel. That's how, when they file a variance, it's
That's
very
true.
much
No, I
tied.
understand.
It would be, even though it's the same property owner, it'd be difficult to put any kind of,
Restrictions on something that's not in front of us at the moment.
It wouldn't be appropriate to put restrictions on a.
Right.
right, on the property adjacent to it, because you'd be tying the future landowners to that same, so, yeah, consider what you have.
But
Be your safest.
to that level, Paul, what happens when when they start building the 1605, and they're gonna have that same, because you said it's a narrower piece of.
no, I mean, it's, the houses have to be 8 feet apart. I mean, there has to be an 8-foot side yard, no matter what. For any of these other ones, they're all minimum 8 foot. There are probably a half a dozen of them that I've done that have an 8 and 8.
Okay.
You know, and, you know, obviously the concrete guy, the builders are like, when we set those stakes in there, we're like, you gotta be,
Spot on.
yeah, there's no wiggle room here, so we, obviously that becomes an issue, if it's even an inch off, so that, and I don't like those, honestly. I mean, the public or the people that are wanting these homes they want as much as they can get out of this lot,
Sure.
unfortunately. And this one in particular is actually a little bit wider, because it kind of it widens in the back a little bit on the one side, but it's in the front, it's not wider. But
John, usually we don't actually have the surveyor in the meeting. Usually the property owner is here. So this is this isn't the first time we've seen a variance for a side yard.
of course,
So this is a typical question I usually ask Craig. Have we seen issues with Turinga survey regarding this type of issues on a wider scale?
I'm
than just this one?
I'm not aware of that being an issue.
We're all human. We get it. I just want to make sure it's not a recurring theme with a particular firm or an entity,
Yeah,
to make sure that they're not just trying to get a variance every time there's
Well,
a
I mean, I would
human
say
error.
this is a one-off, given the
Okay.
this
circumstances.
is, I would add to that, you know, when I first talked to Ron McFarland about this, he's like, you know, doesn't this happen all the time? I'm like, I've been an owner of Turinga Surveying since 2002. Not one time. Not just St. John, but everywhere. So it is not a common occurrence for us. We have procedures that we follow, and this one slipped through. And unfortunately, it wasn't caught by the builder who reviews the survey, and it also it wasn't caught by the town, who normally reviews it and will tell me quite often. I mean, not necessarily a side yard, but like some other flaw that we have, like we
Right.
don't have the correct percent slope, or we forgot to put the flood zone on there, things like that. Not major stuff like this, but yeah. So I
appreciate those
do
comments.
not plan on coming here again. And there was a lot of, you know, I mean, I wouldn't point a finger at one of my employees, of
Sure.
course not. I signed this, I reviewed it, it went across my desk, and
Your name's on it, you're taking responsibility for it.
exactly, 100%. So,
Gotcha.
and I appreciate you guys considering this, I do.
Any other questions? Any remonstrations or anything, of any communication come in for this, Craig?
No, I don't
That
believe
you're aware
we've
of?
received any remonstrance.
Adam, question for you, sir.
Yes,
So the rear side length is 7 feet 4 inches and 7.47 inches. 7 feet, 0.47 inches.
Well, actually, that was on the site plan. The actual location survey that we did is 7.5.
The other drawing I just had up.
Yeah, this was the proposed plan, and then the existing foundation was located.
So it's a foot and a quarter. It's a
No, it's 7.5
6
feet
inches.
side yard.
6
So it's-
inches,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
The house is shifted
Oh, I
6
got you,
inches.
yeah, 7.5,
Yes.
gotcha.
So it's 6 inches over on one side and 6
This
inches
is more on the
over
other side, yeah, so.
So, just, I mean,
Which is what
because this
slide
variance
shows.
goes with the lot, should we make it specific to 7.5 feet? A motion?
You're asking for a half-foot variance to allow for a 7.5-foot setback.
Okay. Is that, would that be appropriate to put in some sort of dimension?
Yes, Mr. Kennedy, this is Adam Decker. Yes, you certainly may put that specific measurement into the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Decker. So with that, is there anyone want to put forth a motion regarding this item?
Hearing what John has said and Craig has verified that this is a one-off, I will make a motion to approve the variance, side yard variance of 7.5 feet for MHI Sterling McFarland Home at 8350 Larkspur Terrace, if I'm saying that right. That approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare of the community. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner, and that the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. We've got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Nancy. Roll call for approval.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Ms. Woolen?
Yes.
Mr. LaRue?
Yes. So motion carries. Approval for the side yard setback.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Welcome. So much.
All right.
Have a happy holidays, John.
Yeah, you too, you guys.
Thank you.
Get to go see my son in North Carolina tomorrow.
Sweet.
Be careful.
Yeah. He just got his shots today.
Nice.
So the next item on our agenda is resolution amending the public notice requirements for rules and regulations. Due to the fact that I really wanted to have a full quorum to do that. We're not going to do that. We don't have that, so I
I'll
would.
make a motion to defer.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
I was gonna
I agree with you. We should have the full, at least more of a quorum here. I agree with that. So I'll make a motion to defer amending resolution for public notice requirements.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Thank you, Nancy. Craig, we have a roll call for a vote.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Ms. Woolen?
Yes.
Mr. LaRue?
Yes. Motion carries to defer to the next meeting. Hopefully, we'll have a full quorum to amend the requirements for public notice. With that, is there any public comment? I don't see anybody in the room, so